in your notes so you don't really have to write anything down. We are looking at multiplying what's called binomials together. And this is a binomial right here, all these things on the bottom here. Binomial coming from a two-termed gizmo gadget there. Please understand this. We're going to use what's called FOIL to do this. That's just because it's like a mnemonic device to do something. Yeah, that maybe is a little harder or whatever here. First, outside, inner, last. As a little side note, if you don't get the FOIL thing, okay, when you multiply any polynomial, anything in parentheses times something else in parentheses, for example, if I saw this, x plus 5 times, I don't know, x minus 3. If you see that, whether you remember any of this, this is just like an easier way to remember what I'm going to show you right here. When you see this, the simple rule to remember is you are going to multiply every term of this gets multiplied by every term of the other one. In other words, it's like double distributive property in this case. You have to take this x and multiply it by this and by this. Hey, Mrs. Nair. And then you're going to have to take this 5 and multiply it by both of those. Every term of this one has to be multiplied, get multiplied by every term of that one. Mrs. Nair, what's up?
Yeah, I have a little bit of an emergency in the computer lab.
Is there smoke? If there's no smoke, then it's nothing that we can't fix.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
everything crash.
when you get a free moment, if you could come in the computer lab for just a second, I would truly appreciate it.
Is it something my kids did?
No,
Prep me for that, because usually it is.
no, I just need some expertise.
Okay, I will be there hopefully in 5. Okay, so as long as you multiply every, and it would, if this was a 3-term thing, let's say I had the letter B over here, then you would have to multiply this x times 1, 2, 3 things, and then come back and multiply this 5 times 1, 2, 3 things, and then simplify and combine all again. Okay, but with binomials particularly, they've come up with this little thing because in the end, the goal is to get you really to do this in your head because it's not that difficult to do. Okay? And by using this FOIL thing, you kind of can put it together in your head kind of quickly. So looking at what's written down there, x minus 3 times x plus 8, you have to understand what the first terms are. When you talk first terms, you're talking about the 2 first terms of those 2 things. What is x times x? X squared, correct? Then you talk about what are the 2 outside terms. Well, the outside terms are this and this. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Outside terms are this and this. What is 8 times x? 8x. What are the 2 inside terms? And please watch out for your negatives. If you have a negative 3 times x, you end up with negative 3x. And then you have your 2 last terms, which is negative 3 times 8 minus 24. And the only little catch or the whole glitch in this thing is when you do binomials like we're doing it for right now, the 2 middle terms that you get in your FOIL, your outside and your inside terms, can be combined because they're like terms. The outside 2 will not be. What is 8x minus 3x? 5x. The x squared stays, and the minus 24 stays. Okay, so anytime you hear the math people talk about FOIL, they're just talking about taking one binomial times another binomial and getting your answer. Okay? Now, what does that mean to you and me? Somebody say that? Let's say you've got this, x plus 6 times x minus x plus 3. let's look at a visual of this, people. I am multiplying two things together. Let's make it a square. Or let's make it a rectangle, sorry. Does that look like a rectangle? Let me change that. Now let's start with the line here. Let's say I've got x, and I'm adding 3 to it right here. That's one side of a rectangle. And then let's say I have this same distance here, x here, and I have 6 there. Get it? X plus 3, x plus 6. We have those two things together. Now let me draw some lines here. Let's say this goes across. If I'm pretending my binomials are the sides of two squares there, two rectangles, two sides of a rectangle. If I were just trying to find out what the area of this piece is here, what would be the area of this piece? X times x is x squared. If I was trying to find the area of this little chunk right here, what's the side of this? It's 3 times what's this from here to here? So it is 3x. If I was trying to find the area of this little chunk right here, it would be 6 times x, which is, and if I was trying to find the area of this part right here, it is 6 times 3, which is 18. If you put all that together and combine what you can, you get an x squared that doesn't combine with anything, but the 6x plus the 3x gives you 9x, and then you have this plus 18 here. If I use FOIL for this, the two first terms are x squared, outside term of 3x, inside term of 6x, and the last term of 18, you'll get the same thing. 3x and a 6x combined together to give you the 9x there. X squared plus 9x plus 18. Isn't that a lovely diagram? So looking at these things here. Let me blow this up a little. This first one right here. Anybody answer to this if I multiply that binomial times that binomial? Think about FOIL. What's the first term going to be? X squared. What's the middle term going to be? What am I going to get when I combine a 4x and a minus 6x? Because that's my two outside terms, my two inside terms are going to get put together. You get a negative 6x and a positive 4x. Put them together, you get a minus 2x. And then my last term is going to be negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. Stop me there if that is not looking in. Because I would love for you to be able to look at this one right here, Brooke Collin, and tell me the answer for that is x squared plus 8x plus 15. Because it's really not that hard. You know what your first term is, it's x squared. You know your last term is going to be 15. And the middle term just comes when you combine this 3x and that 5x to give you the 8x. Or you look at this one. Oh, that one's a little tougher. You haven't done one of those. Let's do that one. Let's just do this number 5 out. What is my first term going to be, Cameron? English. What do I get when I multiply the two first terms together? 2x plus x is
2x squared.
2x squared. What do I get when I multiply the outside terms together is negative 6x. Inside terms together is, anybody? Negative 2x. If you put those two x terms together, you end up with negative 8x. Oh, is that,
An invoice.
got it. Oh, yeah. There you go. Okay, and then what's your two last terms? What's a -3 and a +2, or -3 and a -2 give you? +6. Bam. I know you want to do one. Now what about this? What if you have an x minus 2 squared? First of all, let me tell you what you're going to tell me, because I'll get this all the time on homework stuff. People like to tell me that that's x squared plus 4. It is not. Right, Grace? It is not. Why is it not? I don't know why not. It just isn't. Because if you write this problem out the way it's supposed to be, it's x minus 2 squared is x minus 2 times x minus 2. What am I going to get for my first term? Right? X squared. When I combine my outside and my inside terms together, what's that going to be? Cameron Atkins? Outside terms and inside terms together, put together, going to give me a -4x. And the two last terms multiplied together, Madison? -2 times -2 is? +4, right. Are you with me on that? Are we cooking with peanut oil? Anybody think they could do one in their head? Like these you should be able to easily do in your head. These get a little more complicated. These two you should be able to do. Anybody want to take a shot at it? Logan says the first one's going to give me
positive. Oh, x squared.
x squared.
Already talking about the
Yeah, just give me the whole thing. Read me off the answer to this.
number. X squared plus 48.
That's the last term is 48. What's going to be the middle term? Tell me what's my middle term going to be when I put my, what's that?
14.
Plus or minus?
Negative.
-14x, correct. X squared, because that's the two first terms. You put the outers with the inners, a positive or a -6 and a -8x combined to give you -14x, and then the last term is +48. Bam, just like that. Taylor Rice, can you do 4? In your head? No? Somebody? Come on, great thinkers. Maggie Durvis.
X squared minus 6x.
Right, did you have that written down? Yeah, it is. It's x squared, the two first terms. You know the last term is -40 because those two give -40. A -10x and a +4x is a -6x. You do this one here. Let's see, compare answers here. 3x minus 1 times x minus 5. Go ahead, you can write it down. You don't have to do them in your head. Please don't. Not that one anyway. Big foil. Should be done.
Should we have to do any of these?
No, you're not gonna do those, are just no examples. We should be done. Claire Marco, what'd you come up with?
2x plus 9x plus 15.
I don't hear next squared term in there. 3x times, the first term has to come from 3x times x. There should be a 3x squared starting point. 3x times x is 3x squared. After that comes what, Madison? -16x. And finished up with -1 times -5, which is, David,
Plus 5.
you sure?